The strange market under two bright suns, the market of Zorath 9, was full of noise, dust, and glowing colors. Hundreds of alien traders shouted prices. Machines hummed. Strange animals made sounds no human had ever heard before. And blue smoke filled the air with the smell of metal and salt. In the middle of this chaos stood a tall alien farmer. His skin was rough like cracked stone and his eyes shone yellow. He lifted his long arm and shouted in a deep, echoing voice, "Buy a cow. Get a working woman for free." The crowd laughed. Many thought it was a strange joke. On Zorath 9, sellers loved to exaggerate, but one man didn't laugh. Captain Ray Holt, a human trader from Earth, stopped walking. His eyes narrowed as he looked at the so-called working woman. She was standing beside a silver cage, her hands tied with a glowing rope. She didn't move. Her skin shimmered faintly, almost like light reflecting off water. Her hair was white as snow, and her eyes, bright, deep, and intelligent, were filled with fear. Ray had seen slaves before on alien worlds. He hated it every single time. But this felt different. There was something human in her eyes, something that didn't belong in this cruel market. The alien farmer noticed Ray watching and smiled. His teeth were sharp and metallic. He said loudly, "Ah, human, you have good taste. Cow and worker, special bundle price, only 400 credits. The people around laughed again. Some shouted offers. Others pointed at Ray, whispering that humans were too soft, too emotional. Ray ignored them. He looked at the creature beside the farmer. The cow wasn't really a cow. It had 4 legs, yes, but its skin glowed with blue patterns and its eyes looked almost sad. Its breath came out as warm vapor that sparkled in the sunlight. Ray felt a strange chill. Something was wrong here. He stepped closer and asked quietly, "What's her name?" The farmer shrugged. "She doesn't need one. She works, she obeys. She's linked to the cow. You buy one, you get both. Efficient system, yes?" The woman flinched slightly when the alien spoke. Ray caught that tiny reaction, fear, pain, and anger all mixed in one look. The farmer laughed again, hitting the glowing cow with his stick. "See, they are connected. Good for farming, mining, whatever you need." Ray didn't like how the crowd was watching. His instincts told him this wasn't just business. This was a trap, or worse, something dark hidden under trade laws. He looked once more into the woman's eyes. A whisper reached his ears, so soft no one else could hear it. "Please, take me away." It was her voice, weak, trembling, but real. Ray's hand tightened on his credit chip. He looked at the alien farmer and said firmly, "I'll buy them." The crowd went silent for a moment. Then a few aliens began murmuring. Some laughed again, others looked shocked. The farmer grinned wide. "Human wants the package." "Good choice. But remember me, no returns." Ray transferred the credits. The glowing rope on the woman's wrists unlocked with a click. She rubbed her hands, her movements slow and uncertain. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice was soft but full of hidden pain. Ray nodded slightly. "You're safe now. What's your name?" She looked down. "Ilaria," Ray nodded again. "All right, Ilaria. Let's get you out of here." They started walking toward his small ship. The crowd kept staring. The laughter had stopped. There was a strange silence behind them, the kind that follows when someone breaks a rule they didn't know existed. As they passed the last gate of the market, Ilaria whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." Ray frowned. "Why not?" She looked up at the twin suns and said quietly, "Because now you belong to it too." Before Ray could ask what she meant, the glowing cow made a deep sound, almost like a voice, and the ground under them vibrated softly. The alien farmer watched them leave, smiling to himself. He muttered under his breath, "Let's see how long the human lasts." And high above the market, in the orange sky of Zorath 9, a small drone followed Ray's ship as it lifted off, silently recording every move. The engines of Ray's small ship, the Horizon, hummed softly as it lifted from the dusty market. The glowing cow stood quietly in the cargo bay, its blue light casting long shadows on the metal walls. Ilaria sat beside it, her hands folded, her eyes fixed on the floor. Ray sat in the pilot's chair, watching the alien planet shrink on the screen. The silence between them was heavy. Finally, he asked, "You said I shouldn't have done that. Why? Ilaria looked up. Her voice was low, like a secret carried by the wind. Because what you bought is not a cow, and I am not just a worker. Ray frowned. Then what are you? She hesitated. Her lips trembled before she spoke again. We are connected. The cow and I, if one of us dies, so does the other. Ray turned in his chair, staring at her. Connected how? She pointed at the glowing creature. They call it a biolink beast. My life is tied to its energy. It feeds from me and I live because of it. The farmer wasn't joking when he said it's a package. Ray rubbed his forehead. That's insane. Who would make something like that? Ilaria looked away. The ones who created us. The builders. Long ago they made my people to serve. We build cities, farm worlds, mine planets. The builders gave us strength. But took our freedom. Her voice grew softer. I was born in a lab. I don't even know where my real home is. Ray felt a sting in his chest. The way she spoke, it reminded him of old Earth stories about slaves and freedom fighters. He said quietly, You're free now. She shook her head. No, not yet. Before Ray could reply, the ship's sensors beeped. A red light flashed. Warning. Unidentified drone detected. Ray's hands moved fast across the control panel. The screen showed a small black object following them through the clouds. It's one of Grulak's, Ilaria said. He never lets his property go easily. Ray cursed under his breath. We'll see about that. He switched to manual controls and pushed the ship harder. The horizon dived between glowing canyons, the engines roaring. Dust and light blurred past the windows. The drone followed closely, blinking red. Ilaria stood up, fear in her eyes. He's tracking the link, through the cow. Ray looked at the creature. The blue patterns on its skin were pulsing faster, like a heartbeat. He shouted, Can you break the link? Ilaria shook her head. Only a builder can, and they're all gone. The ship trembled as a laser beam shot past the hull, missing by inches. Ray flipped a switch and released a flare. The bright explosion behind them blinded the drone's sensors for a moment, just enough for him to hide in the shadow of a canyon wall. Silence. The warning lights faded. Ray took a deep breath. I think we lost it. Ilaria was still staring at the cow. Its eyes glowed softly now, calm again. She touched its forehead and her hand shimmered with the same blue light. What are you doing? Ray asked. I'm listening, she said. It's trying to tell me something. Ray watched as the cow's body began to change color. The glowing lines moved, forming strange patterns. The light spread across the walls like moving symbols. What is that? Ray whispered. Ilaria's eyes widened. A map. A star map. The symbols rearranged into a pattern of stars and lines. One of the glowing dots blinked brighter than the others. Ilaria stared at it in disbelief. It's pointing somewhere, Ray said. She nodded slowly. Yes, but that's impossible. Why? Because that star... She looked at him, her voice trembling. That's your home, Earth. Ray stared at the map. His heart raced. Why would a slave's map lead to Earth? Ilaria didn't answer. Her expression turned distant, as if she remembered something buried deep inside her mind. Then she whispered, maybe, because the builders were human. The cow let out a low sound, half growl, half sigh, and the light on its body dimmed again. Ray sat back, his mind spinning. The drone, the farmer, the strange offer, everything now felt part of something much bigger. Outside, Zorath 9 faded into the dark of space. Inside the ship, silence fell once more, broken only by Ilaria's quiet words. Captain Holt, you didn't just buy a slave. You just bought a secret the galaxy tried to bury. And somewhere far behind them, in the endless void, another ship began to follow their trail. The talking cow. The horizon drifted through the silent stretch of space. Stars glowed like cold fire around them. The only sound was the soft hum of the ship's engines. Steady, calm, but hiding tension underneath. Ray sat at the control desk, staring at the star map that had appeared on his screen. Ilaria was resting near the glowing creature, the cow. It breathed slowly, its blue skin pulsing with soft light. Neither of them had spoken for hours. Finally, Ray broke the silence. You said that map points to Earth, are you sure? Ilaria nodded weakly. I've seen many star maps in my life. That pattern, those coordinates, it can't be anything else. Ray leaned back, his jaw tight. Then someone out there wanted humans to find this, or wanted to remind us of something. Before she could reply, the cow's body twitched. The lights on its skin flared bright for a moment, then dimmed again. The air in the cargo bay grew heavy like the calm before a storm. Ilaria stood quickly. "Something's wrong," she said. The creature made a low sound, a strange, deep vibration that made the ship's floor shake. Ray checked the scanner. No damage, no signal. Then, out of nowhere, a voice echoed through the room. "Help me." Ray froze. The voice was soft, metallic, and broken, like a child speaking through a broken speaker. He turned toward Ilaria. "Was that you?" Her face had gone pale. "No," she whispered. It's the cow." Ray blinked. "You're saying it talked?" The cow's eyes opened, twin blue orbs glowing brighter than before. Its mouth didn't move, but the voice returned, clearer this time. "We are bound. We were made to serve. But I remember. Earth." Ilaria stepped back, covering her mouth. "It remembers. That means there's consciousness inside it." Ray knelt closer, keeping his voice calm. "Who are you?" The creature's body trembled, energy crackling through its skin. "We were the Linkborn. We worked for the Builders. When the Builders disappeared, the Masters made us beasts," Ilaria whispered. "It's speaking through the connection. The Builders used humans to create the first workers. Their minds were copied, trapped inside creatures like this." Ray's chest tightened. "So you're saying this," he pointed at the cow, "was once human?" Ilaria nodded slowly. "A fragment of one, maybe. A mind that never died completely." The cow's voice grew softer, fading. "Free us, find the code." "It's hidden." Inside, the voice stopped. Its glow dimmed to nothing. Ilaria rushed forward, touching its head. "No, stay with me." Ray checked the scanners again. Strange energy readings were spiking across the ship. "What's happening?" Ilaria's hand shook. "The link is unstable. It's trying to transfer something." Suddenly, light burst from the creature's eyes, forming a stream of holographic symbols that spiraled into the air. The same map appeared again, but this time it wasn't just stars, and there were shapes, towers, and human letters among them. Ray squinted. "That's English." He read the glowing words slowly. "Project Eden, Human Origin Colony 001. His heart pounded. "This isn't just a map. It's a location file, a human base." Ilaria's eyes widened. Then the Builders didn't vanish. They left traces behind. Before Ray could speak, the ship jolted hard. The lights flickered. Alarms blared. "Warning, incoming transmission detected." Ray tapped the screen. Static filled the speakers, followed by a cold, deep voice. The alien farmer, Galactic. "Human trader, return what is mine." "You have something that belongs to the Syndicate," Ray smirked. "Not happening." Galactic's laughter echoed through the comms. "You think you rescued her? Fool. You activated something much older, and now everyone will come for you." The signal cut. Ilaria turned to Ray. "He's right. The Syndicate won't stop. That code, the one inside the cow, it's valuable. It could control every linked creature in the galaxy." Ray clenched his fists. "Then we find the source before they do." Ilaria hesitated. "If the code truly began on Earth, you might be walking into the birthplace of everything. Or the end of it." Ray looked at the map glowing before him. The blinking light that marked Earth pulsed steadily, almost alive. He took a deep breath. "Then that's where we go." As he spoke, the cow's body gave a faint glow again. Its voice whispered one last time, almost like a sigh. "Home, find home." Ray and Ilaria exchanged a glance, half fear, half wonder. Outside, the stars seemed to shift, as if the galaxy itself was listening. And somewhere far behind, dozens of ships turned their sensors toward the same blinking light, all heading for the same world. Earth. Secrets of the map, the horizon floated through the dark emptiness of space, heading toward the blinking light on the star map, the one that pointed to Earth. But this was no simple trip home. It was a chase, and both Ray and Ilaria knew it. Behind them, dozens of Syndicate ships were spreading across the galaxy, searching for the human who had bought what was never meant to be sold. Inside the ship, silence filled the air. Only the soft hum of the engines and the slow breathing of the glowing creature could be heard. The cow, once a slave, now something much more, was resting, but faint blue light still pulsed beneath its skin. Ray stared at the glowing map projected in front of him. "Project Eden, Human Origin Colony 001, he read again under his breath. Why would a colony be hidden all the way out here? Ilaria stood beside him, her silver eyes reflecting the blue light. Because it was never meant to be found, she said quietly. The builders erased their past. They left only shadows. Ray turned to her. You keep calling them the builders. But if they were humans, then they were your ancestors, Ilaria said softly. The first humans who reached the stars. They didn't just travel. They created. They built species, world systems. My people were one of their experiments. Her voice trembled slightly, not with fear, but sadness. We were supposed to help shape new planets, but then greed came. Control. The builders vanished, and the ones who followed turned everything they made into slaves. Ray leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. So humans created you and then disappeared? Ilaria nodded. Maybe they didn't vanish. Maybe they hid. The ship's console beeped. A new signal appeared. A massive dead space station orbiting a gray planet. Its surface was cracked, silent and ancient. Ray's brow furrowed. That's our destination. As they approached, the ship's lights flickered. Static danced across the screens. The closer they got, the stranger everything felt, like time itself was heavier there. The horizon docked with the old station. The airlock opened with a hiss and cold, dry air rushed in. Ray and Ilaria stepped inside, their boots echoing across metal floors covered in dust. Symbols covered the walls, some alien, some human. Broken machines floated in zero gravity like frozen ghosts. Ilaria brushed her fingers across one of the walls. This is builder tech, she whispered. But the language, it's human. Ray wiped away the dust and saw the words carved into the metal. Eden Research, property of Earth Alliance. He stepped back slowly. Earth Alliance, that's from our early space age. This place is thousands of years old. They moved deeper inside, past long corridors filled with dead screens and rusted doors. In one chamber, they found a massive glass tank filled with black liquid. Inside floated strange humanoid shapes, half human, half glowing energy. Ilaria stared in horror. These are early versions of my kind. She touched the tank's surface gently. This is where they began linking life forms, merging biology with energy. A console beside the tank suddenly sparked to life. A faded hologram appeared, the image of a woman in a white lab suit. Her face looked human, tired but kind. If anyone finds this, the hologram said, then the builders failed. We tried to create life that could survive any world. We called them Ilarians, but the process corrupted. The link we made to control them became their prison. Ilaria's hand trembled. Ilarians, that's my true species name. The hologram continued. If the Ilarians still live, I'm sorry. We wanted to build hope, not slaves. The key to free them lies within their link cores. Only a pure human DNA code can unlock it. The hologram flickered and vanished. Ray looked at Ilaria, stunned. A human code. That means you, she said quietly. Before he could respond, the entire station shook violently. Red lights flashed. The Horizon's computer voice came through the comms. Warning, hostile ships detected. Syndicate fleet approaching. Ilaria's eyes widened. They found us. Ray grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the ship. We've got what we came for. Time to move! The ground trembled again as explosions echoed outside. Pieces of metal fell from the ceiling. They ran down the corridor, lights flashing red all around them. Behind them, the tank cracked, the black liquid spilling out. The bodies inside began to glow. Ilaria turned once more, watching as one of them opened its eyes, bright blue and alive. She whispered, "They're waking." Ray pulled her inside the Horizon. Then let's hope they're on our side. The ship broke away from the collapsing station and disappeared into the dark void, chased by syndicate ships. But deep inside the ruined station, one of the glowing figures looked toward the stars and smiled. The chase space lit up with fire. Blasts of red and blue streaked across the void as the Horizon raced away from the dead station. Behind it, syndicate warships roared into view, their engines glowing like angry eyes. Inside, alarms screamed. The ship's panels flickered with warnings. Ray gripped the controls hard, his face tight with focus. "Hold on," he shouted. The Horizon spun sharply, dodging a beam of plasma that sliced past their tail. Sparks burst from the ceiling. Ilaria held onto the co-pilot's seat, her eyes wide. The glowing creature, The cow had turned bright again, its skin alive with wild, pulsing light. "They're locking onto the energy link," she cried. "They can track us through it," Ray cursed. "Then we'll give them something else to track." He slammed a switch. The ship dropped a trail of flare bombs, balls of bright energy that exploded into clouds of burning debris. The Syndicate ship swerved, sensors blinded for a moment, but it wasn't enough. There were too many of them. Ray pulled the ship into a narrow asteroid field, giant spinning rocks gliding silently in the dark. "If we stay in open space, we're dead," he muttered. Ilaria looked out the window. "This place is unstable. One wrong move and, yeah," Ray said, "we'll become space dust." The horizon weaved between the asteroids, scraping against rock and metal. Explosions lit up behind them as enemy fire hit the debris instead of their hull. For a brief moment it looked like they might escape. Then one of the enemy ships launched a magnetic mine. It clamped onto the horizon's engine with a sharp click. "Warning, power system failure." The ship lurched forward, smoke filling the cockpit. Ray fought the controls. "Damn it, we've lost thrust." Ilaria pressed her hands against the control panel, her blue energy glowing through her skin. "I can try to drain the link." "I can use its energy to push us forward." Ray turned sharply. "No, you said that thing feeds on you. You'll burn out." Her voice was calm but determined. "Then let me burn." Before Ray could stop her, she closed her eyes and reached out to the glowing creature. The light between them flared, brighter than before. Energy surged through the ship's systems. The engines roared back to life. The horizon shot forward like a comet. Ray stared at her, her skin shimmering, her hair floating in the charge of light. She looked almost not human now, something greater, something alive with pure energy. The ship burst out of the asteroid field, leaving chaos behind. But the Syndicate wasn't done. 2 ships followed, and fast and armed. Ilaria's breathing grew heavy. The glow around her flickered. Ray shouted, "Stop! You'll kill yourself." She smiled weakly. "You humans always say that right before you do something brave." Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned bright. "Let me finish what they started." She placed her hand on the cow's forehead. The creature let out a deep echoing sound, half pain, half power. Its blue light expanded, flooding the entire ship in a wave of energy. Outside, the chasing ships were hit by the sudden surge, their systems overloaded, lights exploding in brilliant blue flashes. One by one, they went dark. The horizon drifted in silence. Ray turned to Ilaria. She was slumped against the seat, breathing weakly. The glow had faded from her skin. The cow was quiet, its body now dim and still. Ray knelt beside her. "Stay with me." She opened her eyes slightly, her voice faint. "We made it, didn't we?" He nodded. "Yeah, you saved us." Her lips curved into a small smile. "That's new." Ray helped her sit up. "You just powered a starship with your life." "I'd say that's a bit beyond new." She laughed softly, then looked out the window. The debris of destroyed Syndicate ships floated in the distance, silent and lifeless. But her smile faded when she saw something else. A massive shadow emerging from hyperspace. A ship so large it covered the stars behind it. Ilaria whispered, "That's not Syndicate. That's something older." The scanners screamed again. Ray stared at the readings. The ship's ID was written in human code, ancient, forgotten, and unmistakable. EDE in command vessel, status active. Ray's heart stopped. "That's impossible. That program's been dead for thousands of years." Ilaria looked at him, her voice trembling. "Maybe not. Maybe it just woke up." The giant ship sent out a signal, a deep tone that made the entire galaxy seem to shiver. Inside the horizon, the cow's body flickered once more, and a single word echoed through the ship's comms in a human voice this time. "Welcome home." Ray and Ilaria exchanged a silent look. Fear, awe, and the feeling that something far bigger than both of them had just begun. The awakening. The massive ship hung in front of them like a sleeping god. EDE in command vessel. The letters glowed faintly across its surface, half buried under centuries of dust and time. It was old but alive. Inside the horizon, silence reigned. Ilaria stared out the window, her pale face lit by the giant ship's ghostly light. The cow, the glowing creature, began to stir, its skin flickering with unstable energy. Something in it recognized that colossal ship. Ray whispered, "That's human technology. Ancient human." The comms crackled. A voice spoke, calm, synthetic, almost kind. "Human DNA detected. Identity confirmed. Access granted." Ray froze. "It knows me." The Horizon's engines shut down. A beam of blue light enveloped them, drawing the small ship gently toward a glowing port on the EDEN vessel. There was no resistance, no control. Ilaria gripped the seat. "Ray, this isn't a normal docking. It's pulling us in by force." Ray didn't fight it. Something deep inside him said not to. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was fate. The Horizon landed with a soft thud. The bay doors opened automatically, releasing a wave of warm air that smelled faintly of rain and soil. Something impossible in space. They stepped out slowly. The hangar was vast and quiet, filled with soft white light and green vines creeping through old metal. It looked like a mix between a ship and a garden. Technology merged with nature. "Ray," Ilaria whispered, "this place, it's alive." Before he could answer, the lights brightened and a hologram appeared in front of them. A woman made of pure light. She had human features, kind eyes, and a voice filled with calm authority. "Welcome to EDEN. You have arrived at the birthplace of the builders." Ray took a slow breath. "You mean the first humans?" The hologram nodded. "Yes, the ones who built life itself." Ilaria stepped closer. "Why did they create us? Why link us to beasts and make us slaves?" The hologram looked at her gently. "They didn't mean to enslave. The link system was meant to preserve life, to bind two beings together so neither would die alone. But over centuries the design was stolen, corrupted and used for control." Her voice softened. "You, Ilaria, are not a mistake. You are the final version, the bridge between creation and freedom." Ilaria's eyes filled with tears. "Then why does it hurt to exist?" "Because evolution always hurts," the hologram replied. Suddenly, the floor beneath them pulsed with energy. The glowing creature and the cow let out a sound that shook the walls. Its body began to rise, levitating, glowing brighter and brighter until Ray could barely see. Ilaria ran toward it. "It's merging again. It's trying to connect." The hologram spoke urgently. "It has recognized the signal. The awakening has begun. All linked beings across the galaxy are responding." Ray looked at the screens lighting up around them. Thousands of red dots appeared, every link system ever made, all flaring to life. The galaxy was waking up. The cow's body burst into a sphere of blue light that surrounded Ilaria completely. She screamed, not in pain, but in something beyond words. The light wrapped around her, forming patterns like wings. Ray shouted her name, but she didn't hear him. The entire room trembled. Then, silence. The light faded. Ilaria stood in the center of the bay, her body glowing softly. Her eyes were no longer silver, they burned golden. The air around her shimmered. Ray stepped forward slowly. "Ilaria?" Her voice was deeper now, layered, human but more. "I can feel them. All of them. Every linked soul. They're waking." The hologram smiled faintly. "The builder's final wish?" "Fulfilled." But then the hologram's tone changed. "Warning, external fleets approaching. The Syndicate has detected the activation." Ray turned to the window. Space outside was filled with enemy ships, hundreds of them moving like a storm. He clenched his fists. "We can't fight all that." Ilaria looked calm. "You don't have to." She raised her hands and light exploded from her palms. Across the galaxy, every enslaved link creature, every Ilarian, suddenly glowed blue. Chains shattered. Systems broke. Ships malfunctioned. Ilaria's voice echoed everywhere, not just in the ship, but through space itself. No more masters. No more chains. The Syndicate ships started to fall silent one by one. Their energy drained, their power gone. Ray watched in awe. You freed them." Ilaria smiled weakly. "Freedom always has a cost." Her glow began to fade. She looked at Ray one last time. "Tell your people, we were never your creations. We were your reflection." Then her body dissolved into light, merging with the ship, her energy spreading through every circuit of EDEN. The hologram turned to Ray. "Her consciousness lives on. She has become what the builders dreamed of, the soul of life itself." Ray looked out into the stars. now glowing with faint blue lights, one for every being she freed. He whispered softly, "You did it, Ilaria. You really did it." The last message space was quiet again. Too quiet. The storm of syndicate ships had fallen silent hours ago. Their engines were dead, their weapons cold. They drifted now, empty shells under a sea of blue light. The Edian command vessel floated at the center of it all, shining faintly like a sleeping sun. Inside, Captain Ray Holt stood alone on the command bridge, staring at the endless stars. Ilaria was gone. At least, her body was. But the ship felt alive. Every metal panel hummed softly. Every light pulsed like a heartbeat. Sometimes, if Ray listened closely, he swore he could hear her voice in the hum of the walls. He took a slow breath. "You really did it, didn't you?" he whispered. "You freed them." No answer came, only the gentle rhythm of the ship. He walked toward the main console where a glowing stone rested, the same one that had appeared when Ilaria vanished. It pulsed once, then again like it was waiting for him to touch it. Ray hesitated. "All right, let's see what you left behind." He placed his hand on the stone. Light poured out, filling the entire bridge. The ship's holographic systems came alive. Stars surrounded him, swirling into patterns and constellations. In the middle of them appeared Ilaria, glowing softly, her expression peaceful. "Ray," her voice said, gentle and warm. "If you're hearing this, then I'm part of EDEN now. Don't be afraid. I finally found peace." Ray's throat tightened. He wanted to speak, but no words came. Ilaria continued, her image walking slowly through the starlit projection. "I was born to serve, but you taught me what it means to choose. You showed me something no builder ever did, kindness. And through that, I found what the builders lost long ago." The projection zoomed out, showing thousands of blue lights scattered across the galaxy, each one a freed life form. They're awake now. The Link-born, the Ilarians, all of them. They're learning to live for themselves. Some will rebuild, some will wander, and some will come to Earth. Ray looked at the map. The blinking light marking Earth was brighter now, alive with new energy signals. "They're coming home," he whispered. Ilaria smiled faintly. "Don't let your people make the same mistakes again. Creation is not ownership. The builders forgot that, and the galaxy suffered." Her eyes softened, full of emotion that no machine could fake. "Tell them what happened here. Tell them we were never your tools. We were your mirror." The projection flickered. The blue lights faded until only one remained, hovering above Earth's image. "This is where it began," Ilaria's voice said. "And maybe this is where it can begin again." The message ended. The room dimmed. Ray stood alone, the last echo of her words still ringing in his mind. Then the ship spoke, her voice again, faint but real this time. "Captain Holt, where shall we go?" He smiled sadly. "You tell me, Ilaria. You're the pilot now. Then, let's go home." The engines of EDN roared to life for the first time in thousands of years. Blue energy rippled across its hull, spreading like light on water. The giant ship turned slowly, aligning its path with the glowing blue planet far ahead, Earth. As the stars stretched into lines, Ray looked out one last time. Around them, countless other freed ships began to move too, small lights joining the same course. The galaxy itself seemed to be following. He whispered, "Buy a cow, get a working woman for free." "What a joke," he chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Guess I got the universe instead." Ilaria's voice replied, smiling through the static. "You got something better, a second chance." The ship entered hyperspace, light swallowing everything, and for a brief moment, every freed Ilarian across the stars heard her final words. Not as code, not as command, but as truth. "We are not built. We are born, and we remember who set us free." When the light faded, the galaxy was changed forever. The age of builders had ended. The age of the awakened had begun, and somewhere beyond the stars, a human and an echo of light flew home together.